Hey, there's a lot of information swirling around out there about Washington's vehicle pursuit law. Some's correct and some is incorrect, but we're going to go ahead and get to the truth of it in this video. So if you like topics like this, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and make sure to like the video. And stay tuned. So the most notable changes that came out of the Washington police reform package of 2021 are the restraints that were put on law enforcement regarding vehicular pursuits. Basically, what has to be present for a law enforcement officer to pursue a fleeing vehicle. And they can only now pursue in a couple circumstances. Is a person committing or has committed a violent or sex crime? Then they can pursue, or has the person committed or is committing a DUI? Then they can pursue. There's some other more nuanced things they have to consider, like, is it necessary to identify them? Is the pursuit necessary? And do they also pose an imminent threat to the community? But those are also things that would detract in the analysis on if they should pursue. So it's just a lot of red tape now around pursuit. And also if they do choose to pursue, like if those things are present, there has been a sex offense or there has been a violent offense, then law enforcement still has to radio back, communicate with a supervisor. Supervisor has to weigh in, and they have to kind of discuss things like, traffic conditions, road conditions, things like that, would be very difficult to do in the split second law enforcement would need to initiate that pursuit. It's a hot topic right now. It comes up a lot because people are suspect that data is showing that people's knowledge about this lack of ability to pursue is making property crime spike around Washington state. I don't know if that's true or if it isn't true, but so there's a large kind of push from sheriffs, prosecuting attorneys, mayors to have this 2021 law either changed or fully repealed because it is really tying the hands of deputies and officers and troopers, and they have to, in so many situations, just walk away or let the person, for lack of a better term, speed away. And they can't do anything better. They can't do anything about it. I've watched a little bit of the debates that are going on now. The people that are advocating to keep this police reform package, they're saying, well, the lack of these high-speed pursuits is bringing down serious injuries and fatalities on the roads. Maybe the data is showing that because when you don't have a person driving super fast, well, they're less likely to crash into somebody else, but also, the troopers and the deputies are also going more slowly. But I think the correlation is when the cops aren't chasing you, probably the fleeing person isn't driving as fast and recklessly. So anyway, that's the proponent's argument. But the other part of their argument that I think that fails is they say, well, justice will come, but not as swiftly. And what they mean by that is, when you pull a person over or you pursue them and you get them right then, justice comes then. You get them out of the car, you put them, you got the handcuffs and everything proceeds from there. I think what they're theorizing is that the law enforcement officers get a look at them, they get their plate, they get an identification of the car, what the driver looks like, and then, they will find them. They'll run them through DOL, they'll look at their Department of Licensing photograph, they'll find their home. So maybe they aren't arresting them in the moment, but 2 or 3 days later when, circumstances allow for it, they go out and they'll arrest them if it's a felony. So the problem with that, though, is that's based on a lot of assumptions that most often I don't think are true. Like if you have a fleeing vehicle, sometimes those plates are going to be stolen or no plate at all. So you can't identify it that way. Also, the people that are being real proponents for this are not maybe understanding the rules of evidence. Like, as a person that's done defense and prosecution, you realize the prosecutor has to have somebody in the defendant's seat. You got to be able to identify the person. The cop has to be able, in the witness stand, to be able to point to the defendant table and say, yeah, that's him. I recognize him from this and this occasion. Very clearly, I 100% believe that's the person that was driving the car. Well, a lot of times if a person's fleeing, you're not going to see anything. You're going to be lucky to know if they've got, brown or blonde hair, or if it's a female or male, or if they're 19 or 99. You're just not going to know. So I think it sounds good when you're doing this more theoretical debate in Olympia, but in practicality in the criminal court, it doesn't play out because you can't really identify the person when it comes time to put rubber to the road and try to actually prosecute that person. So It's an interesting debate. I'm not trying to take a position one way or the other. We just wanted to clarify what the law is, because people are always like, no way, you can't just run from the cops in Washington. And honestly, you know, it's not that you can, it's just that if you do, they're not going to follow you unless they believe you're DUI or you're a violent criminal. And a lot of times if you've had an interaction with law enforcement and you're just like, it's taken too long, well, then they've seen you, then they can identify you. So, you know, if you're in this situation, I don't care where you are, you need to talk to a private attorney or any attorney, somebody that does criminal defense, kind of drill down on what the law is in Washington and how it relates to the facts of your case and if there is going to be a case. So hopefully you found this video interesting. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel, and watch for the next one. Also, you know, if you've got a topic that's interesting to you, go ahead and drop it. You know, if you've got a question, drop it in the comments and we'll either respond in the comments or maybe just do a new video answering your question. Thank you.